Welcome to FightTalk.net. I'm joined with American promoter Lou DiBella. Thanks for joining us, Lou. How's things?
Things are fine. I'm sitting here in the sun having a nice day.
Brilliant. Well, obviously you've been talked about quite a lot over here by another promoter, Eddie Hearn, recently in interviews he's done with IFL TV. And everyone's talking about Deontay Wilder. Why is Deontay Wilder not happening? Who's making the decisions for Deontay Wilder? What from just a sort of like broad outlay? What's the deal with Deontay Wilder fighting Anthony Joshua at the moment? What's going on?
Okay, here's my honest question. I don't want to play that person's game of going back and forth. Like, if I'm so irrelevant and if Deontay is so insignificant and worthy of being diminished, it seems that Eddie's spending an awful lot of time talking about it. I don't really need to say much. I would hope that the people on your side of the pond are actually reading the stuff and that's coming out of the mouth of Anthony Joshua's promoter, because he's the one that's making it pretty clear as to what his agenda is. His agenda is not working out the details as to win the Deontay Wilder fight after Joseph Parker. So I don't understand why people aren't taking him at his word.
Okay. Well, he's literally just done an interview now saying the window is really short for Deontay Wilder to fight.
Stop. I mean, I'm sick of listening to what he says. All he's talked about is Billy White and Jarrell Miller. That's all I've heard come out of his mouth in a serious manner. And I it appears to me there's a lot of people on your end of the pond that it's like changes his tune every few hours, and people just embrace it. And where I grew up, that's called bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I think within the sort of hardcore boxing community in the UK, there's a lot of haters for Eddie Hearn. But yeah, I think in the mainstream, he's well liked. So in terms of, he's been saying that Deontay Wilder's got so many managers, etc. What's the role you're playing at the moment?
All this is not concern. And by the way, that person you keep talking to seems to like himself. And here's some of my questions. Okay, he didn't create AJ. Nobody created AJ. He didn't win a gold medal. He didn't come back the conquering hero. It's not any promoter who's selling those stadiums out in the UK. And he should be a lot less concerned with handling Deontay Wilder's business than with his own business.
Yeah.
Because, all I've been hearing about having to take over America, I don't see any of that happening. And I would think he should be more concerned with his own business than who surrounds Deontay. If when he is ready and Anthony Joshua are ready, a fight will happen.
Okay.
But I mean, we've made it very clear we're really ready, able. That's not what's coming out of the mouth of your glorified. Look, it seems to me that Eddie doesn't realize that he's not the ring. We're not the fighters. I mean, ultimately, do you think the general public cares who's promoting a fight? Whose business?
No.
They want to see the best fight the best. They want to see a great fight. I mean, I don't believe that Deontay Wilder's career is based upon the people around him. Nor do I believe AJ's is based on Eddie Hearn. If Eddie stopped promoting AJ tomorrow, do you think AJ would be any less popular in the UK?
No, of course not. Well, I get your point, Lou. I really do, and I see where you're coming from. It's about, us boxing fans and reporters, and that includes yourself, wants to see Anthony Joshua fight Deontay Wilder. Now, there has been some talk about the purse amount and things like that.
There has been. No one's negotiating. No one's negotiating a fight. There are no negotiations. So because people are giving. Let me tell you something. The more interviews that certain people are giving to social media outlets, giving to bloggers, giving to the press, tweeting out, Instagram out. That's not how a deal gets done. That's not real business. When a deal's going to get done, to be honest, every step of action is not going to be reported. A deal's going to get done in meetings that are private and are business.
Okay, so
and why are so many people on your end of the pond ignoring the fact that all he talks about is either a Dillian White or Jarrell Miller? He's not talking about fight in a meaningful way, right?
Yeah. Well, obviously he promotes.
And by the way, let me ask you a question.
Of course.
If you're a heavyweight champion of the world, which Deontay Wilder is, AJ's a heavyweight champion of the world also, are you going to fly across the pond to be humiliated and clowned by somebody's promoter, to be unable to confront a potential opponent in one of the biggest heavyweight fights in decades, and instead be confronted by some ordinary heavyweight who's simply another contender? Would you allow yourself to be humiliated or controlled by a rival promoter? You wouldn't.
No, of course not. No.
So what is this outrage? Deontay decided not to come over. When Deontay agreed to come over, it was an attempt to make an Anthony Joshua fight bigger and be able to look eye to eye with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Once it was clear that wasn't going to happen, it was absurd to think that Deontay would come. For what reason?
Well, it's a bit of a shame from a fan's perspective. Like the boxing fans would love to see Deontay Wilder here at the weekend and sort of,
and what would happen if he was it's more likely that he would face off with Deontay Wilder or Eddie would create a face off with Dillian White? What do you think?
Well, I reckon.
Why is there so
what I seriously think, what I think,
Lou. Why are there
so
many people afraid of? Why are there so many people afraid of Eddie? What are they afraid of losing access?
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone was afraid, but he holds a hell of a lot of power in British boxing and is sort of turning into world boxing.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, that's wonderful. When you have some kind of exclusive with a network, I guess.
Yeah,
a certain amount.
That's what he's got. Yeah.
Power. But I got to be. I'll tell you, if I was Anthony Joshua, I'd be wondering about StubHub and their sponsorship of a particular promotional company. All seem to go on the secondary market at markups, and I'd be wondering, am I seeing my fair share of the money I'm generating? I'd wonder about all the leverage that's used to put meaningless fights, horrendous fights, frankly. Dillian White and Brown on American TV. Frankly, no one cared here. And I mean, that fight was because it was so desirable to American boxing fans, or because maybe it was an attempt to ingratiate by one network to Eddie to maybe get future rights to Anthony Joshua. It seems to me that AJ's leverage is being used to the benefit of his promoter.
Well, these are what you just said. If you don't mind just going back there, what you're talking about the HBO thing there. These are pretty big accusations, and from what you're saying.
Wait. What accusation?
Well, not accusation. You're talking about why the Lucas Brown Dillian White fight's on, and how the HBO are trying to get the exclusive rights to Anthony Joshua, etc.
No, HBO's supposed to look. Hold on. Showtime and HBO networks are supposed to watch the televised stuff.
Of course, yeah.
And there's there's nothing about that. I mean, and by the way, people have always used leverage to get favors from television.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But clearly, Anthony Joshua's star power that's dictating how a lot of product is being purchased in the United States and elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, I will say, he is it's got a bit weird. Like you walk in the supermarket and there's big Anthony Joshua Lynx, which is like a shower gel. He's it is massive how big he is.
He's a proper star, but he's a proper star. But he would have been anyway.
Yeah, of course.
To be no matter who.
Yeah.
And I have no illusion. But I think I'm a very good promoter. I have no illusions that a star fighter who was with people would watching him if someone else promoted him. We are business people. We're promoters. We're not getting into our lives. We're not winning gold medals. We're not winning belts, championships.
Of course.
I think the promoters need to start checking their egos at the door and realize that it's the athlete, it's the fighter that means everything, not them.
Yeah. Okay, Lou. Well, so from what you've been saying is the right way to get this fight made is to get the right people around a table and start hashing it out and negotiate a deal, which is good for both fighters.
No, there's no need to get anyone. No one should be around the table. Everyone really wants to. And I would say to you, and I would argue to you, that at this moment in time, the people representing AJ don't want to make a deal right now.
Okay, so obviously we're getting a different.
No, you're not.
From Eddie Hearn.
It's more of this pandering. You're not getting a different. I mean, go and follow the social media of your own, promoter.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll quote roughly.
Have you heard about Dillian White?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Lou. I completely agree with that, mate.
No, you obviously don't, because you say we're getting a different.
No.
I mean, what? In his next conversation, he says something else?
Well, yeah, obviously he says a lot of different things. He's selling 100 different fights at once. Yeah. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. I agree. I agree to a point with what you're saying. Yeah, he has been going on a lot about Dillian White and Jarrell Miller, and of course he wants Dillian White or Jarrell Miller to cause an upset against Deontay Wilder. So AJ has less problems, and he's got the Tyson Fury fight.
Let me ask you a question.
So I understand that. I'm with you on that, Lou. I get what you're saying there.
Let me ask you a big question. The way he even has discussed all along about Dillian White, you would think that Deontay Wilder is not but the challenger going over to fight the Dillian White with the challenger's promoter. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that. No.
How absurd is that?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. British boxing fans would love to see that. Would love to see Deontay Wilder over him.
Well, with all due respect, American boxing fans and most of the world wouldn't give a shit.
Okay, all right, fair enough. People love their boxing here, to be fair. So I would say Andre Ward's a bigger name here than he is in America.
Hold on, British fans, wonderful fans. You are very, very vocal and loyal and strongly behind your fighters. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't make them world beaters.
Of course not. That doesn't make them
draws. That doesn't make them. Now, AJ is a legitimate superstar. He earned that. He went to the Olympics and he came back with a gold medal. And he's beaten everybody put in front of him. Nothing but the highest respect. If Eddie didn't promote Dillian White, no one's talking about him. And here's the other thing. Yeah. Why does he continue to denigrate? Why does he call Shirley Finkel?
Well, I was going to come on to that.
Why is he constantly talking about my irrelevancy? I was relevant in this industry when he was a child, and I've never stopped being relevant in this industry. Why is he denigrating Deontay Wilder and diminishing if he really wants to make a fight to be the biggest heavyweight super fight in a generation or more? Why? That's not consistent with wanting to make the fight. That's not consistent with wanting to work with people. That's not consistent with being a decent human being, frankly.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, he used a similar kind of tactic with Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton. But the Shirley Winkle thing he keeps going, like, he's stuck with that since, and he's kind of...
does he not let... I mean, also, somehow an insult to a man's name into a woman's, and I mean, I don't even get that. You guys are a lot more tolerant than your end of the pond. Because here, for example, if I would have done a response to Anthony Joshua and put on dark glasses and try to sound obviously, he put on glasses tried to sound like an when he was responding to Deontay Wilder. If I did, I'm sure no trouble. If I started trying to diminish somebody by changing their woman's name that wouldn't pass the spell test of political correctness over here.
Yeah. So
Not to mention the fact it's juvenile. It's juvenile. Has he ever left his super expensive prep school?
okay, yeah, all right, I'll get your point there, and I can see why you think it's disrespectful. So obviously, Matchroom are trying to, away from Deontay Wilder. We spoke about Jarrell Miller. What do you guys think about Eddie Hearn sort of setting up shop in America at the moment?
I couldn't give her. I mean, I'm not intimidated by him. He could should have set up shop wherever he wants. No one went to the first show he did here. He had virtually no attendance. Now there's a show that takes place on April 28th. Let's see how much he has a kid with a great story, a great story. I'm very fond of this man, Danny Jacobs, who I've known since he was a teenager.
Yeah.
He has Danny Jacobs, who's a Brooklyn native, fighting in one of the great venues in the United States, Barclays Center in Brooklyn on April 28th. I haven't seen much promotion of that event at all, and I'm very curious to see what that room is going to look like on April 28th.
Very interesting. Well, yeah, I suppose that remains to be seen. Well, I just wanted to touch on that, but I suppose I do want to sort of end on like Joshua and Wilder, because we want to see it happen, and it's not sounding great by from what you're saying and the noises coming up.
Look, whenever a fight is that big, it eventually will happen if something doesn't happen to upset the apple cart. Now, that being said, the longer often a big fight is allowed to sit out there and percolate, something unexpected often happens to throw a wrench into those plans. And I'm not pessimistic that it will one day happen, but just listen to the reports coming out of your end of the pond, listening to things that are being written and said on social media. Does it appear to you that it's the desire of your Hearn to make the fight right now?
Yeah, no. I agree with you, Lou. And if you actually look at some of my previous articles, I actually wrote an article called "Why Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua Doesn't Happen in 2018," and a lot of the stuff is about what you've said. And obviously they've got the Tyson Fury fight as well, which is probably a bigger fight in the UK than the Deontay Wilder fight. If I'm being honest, they're still both massive.
Yeah, but
fights.
I mean, look, I got to say something. I'm just a promoter.
Yeah.
You've never heard out of my mouth with respect to any fight, and I promoted scores of world champions. You never heard me say a fight wouldn't happen if I didn't promote the other guy. I read an awful lot of stuff about Tyson Fury not being able to get the opportunity if he wasn't signed with a particular promoter.
Yeah,
and you know what? That seems to be just fine by a lot of you guys on your end of the pond.
Well, it's not just fine.
I wouldn't think
that
would be so fine.
No, I get what you're saying, and I know what you mean with the monopolisation of British boxing and Sky Sports. So I completely understand. Trust me, I've done a lot of work on that subject. But I want to get like a definitive answer from what you've been saying.
I believe that if they keep winning, I believe the fight is inevitable. But based upon what I'm seeing and hearing, it sounds to me that it's much more 2019 than this year, and that has nothing to do with Deontay Wilder.
So what we're saying is probably not happening this year, by the looks of things. This is your prediction, and mine. It aligns with my prediction, and it'll be maybe sometime in 2019 if they keep winning. But we're going to have mandatories in between. It doesn't sound good, to be honest, Lou.
No, I got to say something. Deontay just fought his mandatory. The WBC would never watch a Joshua fight with a mandatory. No, it's funny though. Sometimes mandatories become convenient excuses.
Yeah.
I'm not as pessimistic as your question just might lead one to. I believe the fight will happen. The fight will happen when all involved are truly willing and ready to make a deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Denigrating other people, denigrating the one of the combatants, ripping the team around that competitor. Have you seen the Wilder camp there talking about Eddie's contractual situation or putting Eddie on blast on a regular basis, or, whipping Anthony Joshua? I have never said anything about Anthony Joshua except with respect.
On terms of your side, you've got you've got the WBC belt, which the mandatories aren't as stringent as, say, the IBF and at times the WBO and WBA. So
this fight transcends belts. This fight is so big when it would occur that the organizations, I believe, would do what's right for boxing. It's not going to be blocked by a belt. And by the way, one thing I'd say about the British fight fan, other than the fact that the most loyal fight fans to their own fighters, I will also say that their play, they know boxing. I don't think there are a lot of British fight fans that believe Deontay Wilder would have won Martin. I don't think there are a lot of British fight fans, frankly, that believe Deontay Wilder wouldn't be a prohibitive favorite against Joseph Parker. I mean, you have educated fight fans on your side, even though they're so incredibly passionate and biased for their own fight. And by the way, I can't fault British fight fans for supporting British fighters.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not about me or Shelley Finkel or Al Heyman or Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn or any other promoter.
Yeah.
It's about the athlete. It's about the fighter. It's about the contest. It's about trying to make fights that are the biggest, most interesting, most compelling in the world. When everyone involved is really ready to make a deal will be made.
Okay. Well, one thing I wanted to end on, actually, you brought up a really interesting point there about how passionate some boxing fans are, and it's not just the UK. Mexico is a great example. You don't seem to get that so much in America, sort of the whole nation sort of getting galvanized by one fighter, probably because you've got so many. Do you think,
I don't think it's because,
or is it the culture?
I don't think it's because we have so many fighters. I think it's because we have so many sports.
Good point.
For attention. The National Football League is like a religion here.
Yeah.
The NBA is huge international business and a huge American sport. Major League Baseball, the American pastime, again, its fans are loyal in huge number.
Yeah.
The National Hockey League, soccer, or what you call football.
Yeah.
You can go through the list. Boxing still attracts numbers of eyeballs. Boxing is still a major sport, but it's got far more competition here than it does in the UK or Mexico.
Yeah, of course. So in terms of let's just say the fight does get made in a perfect world. Would you guys be serious about entertaining filling out Wembley Stadium? Does that not light up the eyes of American fighters over there? It'd be interesting to get your take on that. Or is Vegas still?
I mean, look, come on, hold on. Does any fighter would any fighter in a perfect world want to go to his opponent's home area? No, but dollars make sense. Money is really what it's. This is prize fighting.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So if there was the economics dictate that there was far more money to be shared by going to the UK, Deontay Wilder was willing to go to Russia on hostile ground, the most hostile grounds you could possibly find.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody fears going to the UK, but I think it's likely, or more likely, that there would be a better economic situation for both fighters in Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, they've sort of, there's, I'd agree with that.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, if we got to the point of sitting down and really working on a deal, Deontay Wilder would have no fear to go any place on this planet where dollars were maximized.